This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com, and we're broadcasting live high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. Our newest instructor's with us. He made it to the Get Prepared Expo, and he is the founder of a mint. He mints gold. His name is Edward Campbell. Welcome, Ed Campbell.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ed, you were at your first Get Prepared Expo, and I understand you brought some gold, and you sold out. Is that right?
Well, we didn't sell out on all of the denominations, but I'll tell you what, you sure pull a lot of people together that know what they want to do, and it's all about being prepared for what might be coming.
Okay. I heard this rumor. So you sold out on some denominations?
That's correct. We offer fractional 24-karat gold certified fine gold bars, and we have them in very small denominations from 1 gram all the way down to 1/8 of a gram. And they're specifically targeted for people who would be interested in bartering with smaller amounts. And we had one denomination that was completely sold out and another that we almost sold out on. So we were very shocked and very pleased. We brought an awful lot with us and didn't take much back.
Well, I'm delighted. You had a great experience. You know, people were telling me that they were delighted. You even got involved in bartering with gold right there at the Get Prepared Expo.
You know, that's true. My partners and I went around the expo, and of course there's all kinds of wonderful things to look at and play with and purchase there, and we got very much caught up in bartering, and we found that it was very receptive, and that gave us the idea to see if we could do it around town, and we went to 3 or 4 different establishments in town. No one ever even blinked an eye. They just absolutely agreed that was the right way to go. We bought signs. We bought all sorts of stuff. So it was pretty amazing. And you're talking,
and Ed, you're talking about in Lebanon, Missouri. I assume that was the first time that you had been in Lebanon, Missouri. So no one really knew you as a person they've seen over and over and over again. You know, so you were able to barter right then and there. They trusted you. They believed that you were not going to rip them off, right?
That's correct. As one example, some of our signage was damaged en route from Phoenix to Missouri. So we went to a local sign company and ordered 2 custom-made signs. And I might add that it was very great service and all that. When we came back to pick them up, they gave us the price, and we actually offered them a gold bar in exchange for it. And they were quite happy to do that.
That's really neat. It really is. Well, let's talk about, you started this mint. What was the impetus to cause that to happen?
Well, as you probably noticed, I have a great face for radio. I'm not exactly a spring chicken either. And I don't know about you, but I've got a pretty heavy bug out pack, and my survival essentials are critical to me. But I also realize that if you're going to be hoofing it anywhere, I live in a very big city, millions of people, so if anything happens at all, I need to get out of that city, and I can't depend on transportation or anything else to do that. So like most people, I looked for bartering tools that I could use along the way to replenish my material. And silver is about the only product we could find out there that really enabled you to have a transaction of a smaller size. You might go into a store and want some groceries. You don't want to buy the store. You just want some groceries. So you need to have bartering tools that are appropriately sized for the transaction. And again, being kind of lazy and having a big, heavy pack, I thought that gold being 53 times as light as silver for a value-to-value exchange, it would be a lot better if we had smaller bars. So I started creating smaller pieces. My neighbors and family and friends wanted some, and next thing you know, we have Noble Mint.
Yep. Class is spelled Noble, Noble, mint, mint.com. NobleMint.com. Ed, can you describe for our class what this gold bartering, these bars look like and how they're packaged? Because I think it's absolutely fascinating. They fit in your wallet and they won't get lost.
Well, that's correct. When you have very small pieces of gold, and a 1 gram piece of fine gold is a little bit smaller than the size of a postage stamp and about as thick as a business card. So I felt like it would be a good idea to protect those. Some people sew them into their clothes for security, things like that. But I really wanted it to be more of a tool where you could actually be able to see the card on both sides, but still, or the gold on both sides, but still be able to protect it. So we actually die-cut cards, and the cards, you've seen them. It's the golden rule on the outside of the card. We are very much biblically based on this, and the gold is actually laminated in a window inside the card. So it's perfectly visible. They are truly minted. So the purity as well as the weight is stamped on it and the mint signature. So it's the real thing, but it's in a manner, as you said, that you can put in your wallet. You can drop them in the bottom of your bug-out bags, throw them in the back of your car someplace, and they're there when you need them.
Ed Campbell, you believe that gold is a excellent way to barter, and some of the people who are new to this may not understand what we're talking about and how people would accept gold. But if you look, I don't know a single person who has a paper wedding band, made out of a Federal Reserve note. I don't know a single person who has one. And my wedding band has been passed down through a couple generations in my family. So I'm not the first one to wear it. And it is gold. And so is my wife's. Hers was passed down to her, too. So gold has stood the test of time, and I really like it. And I think what you've done is really brilliant. I think that, we've got the gold coins. We can buy a quarter ounce, 10th ounce, half ounce, 1 ounce. But, if you're looking at a gold 1 ounce coin that's, let's say, ranging from between $1,600 an ounce to, let's say, $1,800 an ounce, it's really not divisible for most transactions. And I think what you found is a brilliant way to do it. It's good looking. It's easily put in your wallet. You're not going to lose it because it's the size of a credit card. I want to congratulate you. I just love it. And when I talked to you about doing this before we met at the expo, I really believe that it would be a big hit. And Marjorie Wildcraft and I were talking about that yesterday afternoon on the radio about, she has it and she bought yours and she just loves it. So there it is. Because she was saying that not everybody's going to have $1,600 to plunk down to buy some gold, but they can buy smaller amounts. And can you tell us what the pricing is roughly for some of the denominations that you have?
Sure, I can. We sell a gram at $70, and it goes down to half a gram, which is about $40. A quarter of a gram, which ranges right around $25, and an eighth of a gram for $15.
Okay. 1/8 of a gram for $15. Really neatly packed. So I think you're going to be impressed. NobleMint.com. Noble mint.com. Ed Campbell, our newest instructor. I'm Vince Finelli. So it actually works. It works. Have you ever been turned down in a barter situation as you've attempted to barter with gold?
I have. And it's typically that exact scenario where the person who's behind the register really can't make that call. so they feel like their hands are tied. But listening to Freeze Dry Guy's little story here just before the break, even the United States government understands that their currency is really not very valuable. When they send out special forces teams into the bad country, typically they'll give the team leader a gold Cougaran. And I have had the honor to befriend many of these patriots and heroes in the past, and they've told me stories about how they keep that Cougaran. And, sometimes even under the best of conditions, they can't, for one reason or another, be extracted by their team members. So they're on their own to get out of the Badlands. And that Cougaran is, in many cases, their ticket out of there, because everyone understands the value. No matter where you go in the world, no matter what you're doing, they know how valuable that is.
Yeah, and the British forces, Freeze Dry Guy, what do they carry with them, the British forces?
Well, I imagine it changes periodically, but over the years, British sovereigns, and even back to the old James Bond movies, that's true. They had them sewn into various things, apparel and their suitcases and all. But it's smaller, it's a smaller coin.
Yeah, like 1/10 ounce gold sovereign sewn into the linings of their uniforms or jackets, and so forth. Yeah. So gold is the universal barter tool. I think it really is. As a matter of fact, if you had to extricate yourself from a bad situation, there goes the wedding ring, right? There it goes. And yes, it does have sentimental value, but it's universally accepted. It really is, because people can read, 14K, 18K, 22K. They know what, 14 karat means. So yeah, it's a great barter tool, and I think everybody should have some. I think everybody should have gold. I think everybody should, if you, we've recommended, Ed, that people take their money out of the bank except for 30 days worth of transaction amounts, and put the rest in some cash at their homes, in gold, in silver at their homes, or safe places where they can store it and control it. Because if you look at Cyprus, how about Cyprus, Ed? What happens there when you have your money in the bank or your currency in the bank, and they say, okay, look, we're only going to take 10% of it. Well, 20%. No, actually 30 or 40. No, really we mean 60% of all amounts over 100,000 euros. Imagine that. Imagine how frightening that must be to watch the system steal from us. That's why you need to have your own, your control over your own wealth. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. And, you bring up another point, too, because bartering just with precious metals is not, that's the most common and probably the most accepted. But, from day one, when we're born, we immediately, that's the very first skill we learn, right? Bartering. I will stop crying if you give me something to eat or give me some attention. Fair enough? So this is a very natural thing for us to do, and we've gotten away from it. There's many cultures and nationalities around the world that they're insulted if you pay full price. They want the opportunity to barter with you, that transaction. That's what, is valuable to them. So we as Americans need to get back in the mode of this thing. And I think that sites like Groupon and eBay and, Priceline.com, those things, they're helping us to get back into that mental mode where it's okay to barter for goods and services. But we need to practice it. We need to be ready for it, because, as you said, if they turn off the banks, if they turn off the ATMs, it's what's in your pocket. So you need to have resources and barterable objects and things that are ready for you to be able to protect yourself and your family. And, you gave me an opportunity to teach a class during the expo. And one of the things that I try to tell my students is that you need to evaluate your particular situation. There's really going to be two kinds of scenarios in most any big catastrophe, right? You're either going to be a traveler, so you're carrying what you need, and you need barterable things, and precious metals is probably a great example for that because you can pack them away, they're easy to transport and secure. But you could well be the trading post, right? So maybe in that scenario, you're out on a farm or out in the woods someplace where you're protected and can store things and protect things, and now you're able to barter those goods and services to people that are travelers and going through to replenish their stocks. But everyone needs to have a plan. Now is the time to be planning. Don't wait. Now is the time to get this stuff and think about these scenarios. And, you may have all of the supplies you need to protect your family for a year, but if they're home and you're on vacation, or if they're home and you're visiting someone 100 miles away, you need to think about that now. What's in your car? What are you carrying with you? So, again,
it's really interesting that it is really interesting you're talking about one of the first things that we learn is to barter. And our puppy is 16 weeks old. He's an English Mastiff. He's probably about maybe 63 pounds now. He's 16 weeks old. And last night he was teaching us a bartering lesson. He was going to chew on the freeze-dry guy, chew on his arms, his feet, his legs, and he kept chewing on them. And he convinced me that if I gave him some toast, he would knock it off. So he taught me.
There you go.
He taught me exactly what. Yeah, he was bartering with me. Like, if you give me some, and he loves toast. He loves hard, crispy toast because he's teething. And so he taught me that if I would do that, he would stop chewing on the freeze-dry guy, and he'd stop chewing on Ricky Rocket. Dr. Richard Allen Miller. So you're absolutely right. Hey, tell us about when you were teaching the Expo class. What were people thinking? What were they concerned? What did they want to know? And what were their fears?
Well, the biggest fear they have is that they don't know if they're prepared, and they don't know what they need to be prepared. I'm in my mid-50s. I might be a little generous with that. You and I are about the same age. Do you remember in grade school having nuclear bomb drills where you crawl under your desk and, things like that? Or
yes.
Do you remember driving down the street, you'd see all the shelter signs?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Craig Douglas was at the Expo, and he had a lot of that material, including the radiation detection survey meters, and I bought a couple that I didn't have to add to my collection of radiation detection. Yes, duck and cover, get under the desk, get out in the hall, sit on the floor, put your knees against your chest. Yes, we did all that. You're absolutely right.
Exactly, but we were all afraid of what? It was the possibility of nuclear war. The Cold War was in swing, and people were worried about that. Worried is the word. People are scared now. I have never seen people so afraid. They don't know what they can trust. They don't know who they can trust. They have no idea where they could go. I mean, we're thinking of our government may be the enemy in some cases. So people just aren't prepared for this. It's heartwarming to see all these people coming and wanting to learn and wanting to get ready, and that's a responsible thing to do.
Ed Campbell, Vin Finelli, Freeze Dry Guy, we're all with you this morning. This is USAPrepares.com.